Imagine this: you're standing on the deck of a small, rickety ship, staring out at an endless expanse of dark, churning water. The horizon stretches as far as the eye can see, a vast, unbroken line that seems to mock your daring. You're Christopher Columbus, and you're about to sail into the unknown. But this isn't just any adventure. It's a journey that could change the world. Or it could end in disaster. The fate of your voyage rests on a single, untested idea: the belief that by sailing west, you can reach the east. This is the story of how Columbus' dream became a reality, and how a few simple tools and a lot of stubbornness changed everything. In the early 1400s, the Mediterranean Sea was the heart of the known world. It was a bustling hub of trade, where ships from Italy, Spain, and Portugal navigated the waters, carrying goods and ideas between Europe, Africa, and the Near East. But there was a problem. The eastern Mediterranean was controlled by the Ottoman Empire, which made it difficult and dangerous for European traders to reach the rich markets of Asia. This is where the magnetic compass came in. The compass was a game changer. It allowed sailors to navigate more accurately, even when they couldn't see the shore. By the early 15th century, the portolano charts, which showed detailed maps of the Mediterranean, had become much more accurate and easier to use. Instead of following a complicated zigzag of tacks, sailors could now plot a single compass bearing to reach their destination. The compass was so important that it became the primary tool for navigation. Without it, Columbus might never have had the confidence to set sail for the unknown. But the compass wasn't just a tool. It was a symbol of a new era of exploration. It was the key that unlocked the doors to new worlds. Columbus was born in Genoa, Italy, a city famous for its maritime prowess. From a young age, he was drawn to the sea. He spent his early years learning the art of navigation and map-making, skills that would serve him well in his later adventures. In 1476, at the age of 25, Columbus was part of a Genoese convoy sailing to northern Europe. His ship was attacked and sunk by a French armada near the coast of Portugal. Miraculously, Columbus survived by using a floating oar as a raft and made it ashore. This event would change the course of his life. Portugal, at the time, was the center of maritime exploration. Prince Henry the Navigator, a Portuguese prince, had established a school of navigation in Lagos, a town on the southern coast of Portugal. This school trained sailors and supported expeditions down the African coast. When Columbus washed up on the shores of Lagos, he found himself in the perfect place to pursue his dreams. He joined his brother Bartholomew in Lisbon, where they set up a business making and selling nautical charts. This was a crucial time for Columbus, as he learned about the latest discoveries and updates from Portuguese explorers. By the 1480s, Portuguese ships had reached the Gulf of Guinea, but the full shape of Africa was still unknown. The idea of a westward sea passage to the Indies was not new. In 1474, a Florentine doctor and cartographer named Paulo dal Pozzo Toscan wrote a letter to a Portuguese nobleman, suggesting that a shorter route to the Indies could be found by sailing west. Toscanelli based his argument on the reports of Marco Polo, who had described a vast eastward extension of Asia and an island called Cipangu, Japan, which was supposed to be about 1,500 miles off the coast of China. Toscanelli even drew a nautical map of the Atlantic Ocean and sent it with his letter. Columbus heard about Toscanelli's letter and was electrified. He wrote to the Florentine and received a copy of the map, which he later carried with him on his voyages. This map and the ideas it represented became the foundation of Columbus' enterprise of the Indies. Columbus was convinced that by sailing west, he could reach the riches of Asia. But he needed funding and support. In 1484, Columbus presented his idea to King John II of Portugal. The king was initially intrigued, but ultimately turned down Columbus' proposal. A committee of experts was formed to evaluate the project, but they were skeptical about the feasibility of a westward voyage. They believed that the distance to Asia was much greater than Columbus estimated. Despite this setback, Columbus was not discouraged. He was a man of immense determination, and he continued to seek support for his enterprise. In 1485, after the death of his wife, Columbus moved to Spain, hoping to find a more receptive audience. He first approached the Count of Medinaceli, a wealthy shipowner, who was interested in the idea but refused to proceed without the Queen's approval. Columbus then presented his proposal to Queen Isabella and King Ferdinand, but they too were hesitant. They appointed a commission to review Columbus' plan, and the negotiations dragged on for years. During this time, Columbus faced many challenges. He had to convince the learned men of the court that the earth was not flat, a common misconception at the time. He had to gather evidence and expert opinions to support his theory. He had to overcome the skepticism of the Royal Commission, which was divided on the issue. Some members believed that the distance to Asia was too great, while others were more optimistic. In 1488, Columbus returned to Portugal, hoping to rekindle the king's interest. However, he arrived just in time to witness the return of Bartholomew Diaz, who had successfully rounded the Cape of Good Hope and found a sea route to India. This success made King John II lose interest in Columbus' westward proposal. Undeterred, Columbus and his brother Bartholomew continued to seek support in other European courts. Bartholomew went to England and France, but neither King Henry VII nor King Charles VIII was interested in funding the expedition. Finally, in 1492, after 8 long years of persuasion, Queen Isabella of Spain decided to support Columbus. She was convinced by the potential rewards of the enterprise and the relatively low cost of the venture. The contracts, known as the capitulations, were signed, and Columbus was given 3 ships, the Santa Maria, the Pinta, and the Nina. On August 3, 1492, Columbus set sail from Palos, Spain, with a crew of about 90 men. The journey was long and arduous. The crew faced numerous challenges, including storms, shortages of food and water, and the constant threat of mutiny. As the days turned into weeks, the sailors began to lose faith in Columbus. They were convinced that they were sailing into an endless sea, with no land in sight. Columbus, however, remained steadfast. He knew that if he turned back, he would never get another chance to prove his theory. On October 12, 1492, after 70 days at sea, Columbus and his crew spotted land. They had reached the Bahamas, which Columbus believed to be the East Indies. The discovery of the New World was a moment of triumph and a turning point in history. Columbus had proven that it was possible to reach the East by sailing west. He had opened the door to a new era of exploration and colonization. Columbus made 3 more voyages to the New World, each time encountering new lands and peoples. He established Spanish colonies in the Caribbean and helped to lay the foundation for the Spanish Empire in the Americas. However, his legacy is complex. While he is celebrated as a great explorer, his actions also led to the exploitation and suffering of indigenous peoples. The magnetic compass, the portolano charts, and Columbus' unwavering belief in his vision were the key elements that made his journey possible. His success was not just a matter of seamanship, but also of salesmanship. He had to persuade kings, queens, and learned men to support his enterprise. He had to overcome skepticism and doubt, and he had to navigate the treacherous waters of politics and diplomacy. Columbus' voyage to the New World was a testament to human curiosity and the spirit of exploration. It was a journey that changed the course of history, opening up new possibilities and new challenges. The world would never be the same again, and it all started with a simple idea, that by sailing west one could reach the east.